showing you a launch sequence of a shuttle to give you an idea of what it's like to go into the shuttle, strap yourself in, and do that amazing ride up into space, which I've had the privilege to do on 4 separate occasions. As you can imagine, when you go out to a launch pad and strap yourself into about 500,000 gallons of high explosive, it's an introspective time. And I do remember my first flight thinking, I'm about to have the most extraordinary experience of my life, which I did, and I thought, this is a long, long way from Adelaide. My last flight, my thoughts lying on the launch pad were a little more prosaic. I lay there zipped up tightly in my pressure suit thinking I should really not have had that second cup of coffee at breakfast. When you land on the launch pad, you hear all the communications. At 31 seconds before launch, the control is taken over by the onboard computers, and we're told to close our visors, start our oxygen flow, and things get very quiet. At 6 seconds before launch, the main engines of the shuttle are started, and they run up to full speed. You're still bolted very firmly to the ground, and the engines have run to full speed, which causes the whole vehicle to sway and lurch while you're strapped to the ground. And they check the engines. They make sure the engines are running properly. They have some critical parameters that they check to make sure that they're within the right limits, because they want to avoid what they euphemistically call an uncontained engine shutdown. That means it blows up. If the engines pass their checks, a signal is sent to ignite the solid rocket boosters, and at that point there's a tremendous explosion. Everything starts shaking violently, and you're on your way. And this is a sequence put together from one of my flights. Here we are on the launch pad. You'll hear the communication of the crew on board the shuttle doing this, and you'll see the view they have in the upper left of the screen. Engines running. You're on your way. You're strapped to the outside. This is the view you can see looking back down. And I could see a view like this because I had a mirror, and I could actually see out the overhead window, and I could see the coastline rushing away. At this point, you're burning fuel at a rate of 12 tons every second. Here we're going supersonic. It's not long, 2 minutes into the flight, the solid rocket boosters have depleted all their fuel, and they're explosively released. And you continue on riding the main engines up into space, and you can hear the speed increases being called out every few minutes by increases of thousands of miles an hour every few minutes. At 8.5 minutes into the flight, we separate off the tank. The fuel is all gone, the engines are shut down, and we're off the tank. And at that point, we're in zero gravity, and we're traveling at 30,000 kilometers an hour. And we immediately unstrap and go to work and start prepping the vehicle for on-orbit operations, basically to turn a rocket into a spacecraft. And there you see the tank receding into the distance. The shuttle's flown about 130 odd missions. The last 35